Sandra Clements with Clements Family Ministries, and we're continuing with the series, And He Gave Them. And I think the last thing we talked about was the fact that the man and the woman had transgressed the law of God and that they had disobeyed God by eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And when God comes looking for them, they've hidden themselves and sewn fig leaves together to cover their nakedness. And God questions them and he asks them, why is it that you have done this? That is, why have you done what I told you not to do? Why did you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? And the man says to God, it was that woman you gave me. She caused me to eat. In other words, he was saying, had you not given me a woman, had you not given me this woman, I wouldn't have disobeyed you. I would not have disobeyed you. Indirectly, he was indicting God. He said, you didn't make a good decision by giving me this woman. Well, that's the implication, and I'm presupposing, and that's something I don't want to do, but the implication is from just the wording, it was that woman you gave me, and that's why I did this. And he asked the woman, he said, well, why have you done this? She said that the devil deceived her. He deceived her. She believed his lie. And he deluded her. And when she said that, God then begins to speak to the serpent. He says, of all the cattle on the earth, he says, you are cursed above all of them, and you shall crawl on your belly. He says, I'm going to put enmity, that means cruel hatred, between your seed and her seed. Her seed shall bruise your head, and your seed shall bruise his heel. He's speaking to the serpent about the woman. He's saying, this woman that you've deceived, her seed is going to be the downfall of you. And we know that her seed is Christ. Then he says to the man, he says, cursed is the ground for your sake. He says, now you're going to have to work and sweat, thorns and thistles. You're going to have to work the dust of the ground from which you were taken. And then we have recorded in our Bible, and in your Bible probably, a saying that says to the woman, he says, in childbirth you're going to have pain. In your conception you're going to have pain and sorrow in childbirth. He says, you are going to desire your husband, and because you're going to desire your husband, he's going to rule over you. Now, several things are happening here. First of all, when God says to the serpent, when he makes covenant in reference to the woman, when he's telling this to the serpent, a war was taken out against the woman by Satan. It's called a blood feud. His intent was to destroy any woman who would have children, because by destroying that woman, or any woman that would have children, because no one knew who was going to bring forth the Christ child, by destroying every woman, he felt there would be no seed to destroy him. And then he said to the woman, we have recorded, in your conception, you're going to have pain and sorrow. Well, of course she's going to have pain and sorrow if she's not valued and if her children are abused. But Lee Starr says that the better translation of that would be to the woman, a snare has increased thy sorrow. You will turn toward your husband, and your husband will rule over you. You got to keep in mind, this is in the fallen state. This is when they've transgressed God. This is when disharmony, disease, all sin has come into the earth because these people have failed to obey God.